You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into episode 97 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. As I was running late, we got Coach Smith. What's going on, Coach?
Happy to be here. I've been the one coming in hot the last couple of weeks, so it's nice to be a few minutes early today. I'm not flying in last second trying to figure out what we're talking about. So this is good. I've had a chance to watch the schedule go across the bottom of the screen as to what we're going to talk about. I've gotten to see some of our pick'em scores. Records, I guess. I got to see those go across. I like the looks of those. So yeah, looking forward to be here. Coach is going to be coming in hot. He'll be all right. We'll get there.
He's used to coming in hot. Coach, pressing issue here. Who wins Game 4 of the World Series?
I think.
Is it a sweep?
Deep down, I think it's over, but I think I told you all that day. I think there's too much money in this thing to allow a series that is so about money with the Dodgers and the Yankees to go out in 4 games. I think they would leave a lot on the table. I think if we can find some way to get the Yankees to win tonight and tomorrow and at least get it back to LA. I mean, I think LA is going to end it tonight. Personally, the conspiracy theorist side of me says there's too much money to be had to have 2 more games in New York and then potentially 2 more in LA. I don't know that they're going to leave that money on the table, but that's just the conspiracy side. So,
Coach, there's only one team ever in the history of Major League Baseball to come back down 3-0 in a series. And sidebar, it's a show on Netflix. Go check it out, Coach.
It is very good. I've seen it, yeah.
Watched it last night. Incredible.
4 nights in October or something like that. Isn't that what it's called?
No.
Maybe that's the E60 documentary. Maybe not.
Might be E60. This one just came out. It's about the Sox.
Yeah, they've had one out about them. I think it was
It's called The Comeback.
This is a 30 for 30. I haven't seen that then.
This is a Netflix special. Really good, Coach. Go check it out. It's well worth your time. Coach Espo may not be joining us, Coach.
Uh-oh. He big timed us.
Yeah, it's the first time he's ever missed on us. So I guess we could, Coach, I guess it's just going to be me and you here, and we'll hop into it. Coach, Sunday, unsigned senior games took place. Around 25-ish kids. Showcase gameplay at beautiful Winthrop Park. Shout out those guys for hosting us and all the parents, kids that came out. It's kind of a last, don't want to say last chance, but as they move into their senior year here to maybe get some looks, and a lot of them showed well.
I think one thing that I did notice, I know we were dealing with a lot of all 25s, a lot of guys played a lot of baseball in their time. I know a lot of these events we get some freshmen, sophomore, juniors, some guys who are really kind of bursting onto the scene. I think a lot of these guys, I noticed there were several who we've seen a lot, especially some guys we've had a chance to follow for a few years now. I noticed there was even for me, I noticed there's some guys who were freshmen when I first started getting into this side of things, and seeing them out there at the unsigned senior thing, I was like, oh my gosh, you're getting old. But I do think overall, I think that age and that experience led to a good showing from a lot of those guys, just overall as a group. I thought the BP round that a lot of those guys put out there, there wasn't probably not as many balls leaving the yard going in the seats as we had at Clemson, but there was also a more consistent balls coming off the barrel, I guess, would be a good way to look at it. I mean, there was a lot of, I think they got two rounds of 6 is what we went with. I mean, there was probably a lot of kids who barreled a good 8 to 10 of those 12 swings. I mean, there was a lot of balls came off hot. There was a lot of balls. And then the same thing defensively. I thought there was a more consistent overall performance, I thought, from what we saw. I didn't get to see the 60s because some of you were in charge of that. So, but I thought as a whole, like you said, 20, 25 players, however many we ended up having, I thought it was a consistent group, a good group. And I think there's some guys I know that, like you said, a last chance might not be a good way to look at it, but going into a full year of their last chance at the high school level, I think there was a lot of guys there the other day that can play and can play at the next level. And I'm glad they were able to come out and put that showing out, get those numbers out there, and hopefully we can get them out there and get them some looks, and some people can commit and have some opportunities to go play for the next few years out of that. So
it's there, Coach. Well, I'll let you lead off this because I know you've been practicing. I know you've been researching, looking over your notes. Senior game standouts, Coach Smith. Who you got?
Brought the card, looked at it at work a little bit today, figure out who all I went through because last week me and Sammy just kind of started popping off left and right about who we were going to talk about. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into this with a little bit more of a plan. And I was going to let Sammy pick his people, and then I was going to pick the rest. And now that he has
not here,
see what happens when you have a plan here, where it kind of gets shot. From an arm perspective, I'm going to jump right in with the first one we saw, Hunter Doyle from Lucy Beckham. Again, that's kind of something I touched on a minute ago. Some of these guys who we've seen for a few years now, I know me and you saw Hunter Doyle at I think it was preseason tournament last year or the year before when he shut somebody down for quite some time. And I think one thing that's worth mentioning about him is I think we talked about him on a podcast, and I know I think we talked about him I'm pretty sure it was at Shipyard at the tournament. I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but they all start running together. But he went deep in the game, shut down somebody early on, and I remember thinking, man, this guy, if he can just add a couple more mile an hour to that fastball, to where for whatever reason people need to see that number. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly what he topped out at the event Sunday, but it looked like he has added some size. Looks like he's added a little bit to that fastball. I don't know.
81 and a half, Coach.
81 and a half. So we can round that up to 2 if we so choose. I have no idea what the numbers were last time, but I think Hunter is just a really good example of he's just going to get people out. He had a really good breaking ball, kind of a slow, more 12-6 type breaking ball, something I saw from behind out there in center field. He worked fast on the mound. You can tell he's thrown some innings at that level. He didn't look like he was nervous or anything. The moment wasn't too big for him. So I thought he had an impressive outing for his couple innings coming out. And I really think as he continues, I expect him to win a lot of games for Lucy Beckham this year. Just my 2 cents on him. So that was a good.
He's got a chance for a pretty good Lucy Beckham team, who we may see early as well.
That's a team that kind of burst onto the scene last year. They kind of, I think they shocked a couple of people down there at Shipyard, and then kind of took it into the season. Had a better season than most people expected. But again, like I said, I think he's got a shot to, again, 81, 82, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. He's not going to light up the radar gun and make everybody say, "Oh, look how hard he's throwing," but he gets outs, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. So I like the kid.
Chance, Coach.
I like his. I like what he can do, just overall from a pitching standpoint. And so he's definitely a good one to start with. And then another arm that I liked was, I should have broke out my hoodie. Mr. Colin Anderson, one of our personal favorites. So you must have knew that was coming. You had
Coach. I was going to talk about him if you weren't. So go on
fired
ahead.
up. Go for it.
Okay, you got it. You're an Island boy, so you take it away.
So, I felt obligated somewhat to, we had an Island boy at the event. I had to talk about him, but Colin earned it. Colin has. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm shocked he still has not committed somewhere. For whatever I thought he had for some reason, but I guess not. He did what he always does. He gets people out, left-hander. Kind of similar to Doyle. He's not going to throw. He's not going to touch 90 or anything like that. He's in the low 80s fastball. And one thing I noticed the other day, he had a really good feel for his changeup. And it also from the angle I had, I didn't have the TrackMan angle, but the angle I had in center field looked like he had his fastball. He could make it go both directions. There was a couple of times I saw him
at 82.3 on the top fastball.
There you go. So, I just know there was a couple of times he threw fastball, and I was like, "Dang, this got some cut on it." And then I turned around and I'm like, "All right, let me check this out again." And then next thing you know, he backed one up. So I don't know if that's something he does intentionally or not, or if he's mixing in a slider with it or what it is. But he got fastball that can go in two different directions, and he locates it well. Another guy who we've kind of tracked here for a couple of years, especially since James Allen's one of, if not the best teams in the state, and he gets a lot of innings and wins a lot of ball games for that team. So I think that's going to continue again this year. And again, it's another kid who, the numbers may not come across the screen and jump off the page and make you say, "Oh yeah, I got to have him," but kid can pitch. I'm gonna be honest, he can pitch at the next level. There's no doubt about that. So I look forward to seeing what he does this coming year, but also after that, because I've got no doubt in my mind he can keep playing after high school. So I look forward to seeing where he ends up.
Coach, I was gonna talk about him because it was legit. That high 3/4 slot, deceptive there. I think he's gonna win some ball games for the Island boys this year. I think he's gonna have to step up in a big way for the Island boys, but I think he's gonna show out for him. This is obvious. Coach. Miles Barbary, 2025 middle infielder with the Fury, Coach, the Fighting West, as we like to call them. Fighting West and Rollins. It's in the car. Oh, Austin finally gave me my Fury hat. Look forward to those new hats to come our way. Mr. Blake and Mr. Cole. Hope to see those very soon. If we can just walk in the front gate. Anyway, Miles Barbary recently decommitted, Coach. He came to the event. This is a guy I feel like is going to get picked up very soon. We pull his stats up right here. You got it readily available. If we can find it. 83 infield velocity, but I think the biggest thing is we saw him make some plays at that shortstop position in the game that you're like, oh, okay. Had a quick runner run down first, threw him out by 3-4 steps. Made it look easy. Ran a 6.8 60. He's gotten more stockier since we've seen him in the high school season. Got some muscle on that frame. Swung the bat very well, Coach. Did he have 2 doubles? I know he had 1 double in the game, but the power's there. It'll increase as he goes, as that frame gets a little bigger. But Coach, pretty good middle infielder here for the Fury.
Because I'm glad you brought him up, because obviously I had him on my list to talk about. There was a lot of things in his game that it kind of stood out to me. Was I've been to several Fountain Inn games, seen this kid play for a couple of years now. I've never seen him play anywhere besides second base in a game, and I
agree.
So I've always seen him play second base, and again, I kind of was the other day. I was like, man, I kind of want to see him when he throws from shortstop, just to see. I think from a almost a marketing standpoint for himself, if he can show that he can play more than second base. Nothing wrong. I mean, somebody's got to play second base. Don't get me wrong. But if he can show that he can play shortstop, second base, third base, anywhere else on the infield, and I just kind of always assumed, he's always played second base. I just assumed the arm wasn't there. The arm's there. There's plenty of arm there, and he's got a quick release. He's very accurate with the ball as well. And I asked him once the gameplay started, I said, "Hey man, you gonna play second or short this year?" And he was like, "I don't know." So, Coach Roller, we need to get a little insight when you get a chance. Feel free to comment on here, or you can just send me a text. I need to know what he's gonna play this year because I was impressed with him at shortstop. I have a note on my page. He made probably the best defensive play of the day in the hole at shortstop, like you said earlier, against a pretty good runner. It wasn't like it was a guy running a 9-160 down the line that he threw out. He went in the hole and got a ball and threw it one hop. I mean, on a line, one hop at first base. I mean, and threw the kid out by a few steps too. It wasn't like a tie goes to we're going to give it to whoever we want to. So I just got a text message on my watch. I thought it might have been Coach Rowland telling me if it was going to play second or short, but it wasn't. But again, there was just a lot of pieces to his game that stood out to me. Obviously, we knew him going in, but I mean, like you said, the power, the speed. I mean, I think it was his first at bat. He had a pop up that was a routine pop up to third base. The kid misses it, and he's standing on second base because he ran the whole way down the line. I mean, I know that's not, but it takes no talent to play hard, and he plays hard as well. Like I said, he turned what should have been a F5 start a ball game out to man on second with nobody out, and that's just one of those things that jumps out to me is, sure, you can hit, you can run, you can play defense, you can do all those things, but are you going to be able to help the team win a game? And any coach in the country is going to like that kid who will, should be out and stand on second to start their game. But I'm with you. I know he just decommitted from Charleston Southern, but he won't be off the board long. I don't believe he'll be right back.
I don't think so. A little side note here, Coach. Freddie Freeman just hit another bomb.
Freddie, he can't stop. Freddie can't stop.
That's 4 in a row, 6 straight World Series games with a bomb. And that's just like that, the Dodgers are up 2-0.
And he should be in. Who's pitching for the Yankees? Garrett Cole going on short.
Got Luis Gil.
Okay. Yeah, it's over. It's all over.
Yeah. I mean, good
for Freddie.
We got 3 hits in the first inning.
It's funny that you say that about Freddie hitting bombs in the World Series as I'm sitting here and I have this in my room.
You miss him, Coach? You miss him.
I miss him. And while we're at it, before we talk about some more baseball players, we got Freddie. We also got the mailman who celebrated a birthday yesterday. So
you would know that. You would know that.
I would like to. I just wanted that to be out there. You got anybody else for me to keep going? Because I feel
I got one more.
I can spend a lot of time here if I need to.
Oh, we don't need to take up too much time, Coach.
I'll
go with mine right here. Big winner of the day, 2-way guy, Braden Robinson from South Lawrence. Another shocker as to why this kid is still on the board. Showed well defensively, offensively, and then hopped on the mound. He was a little pissed he didn't get to pitch more than 1 inning, obviously. So, Coach, he had the highest velocity on the fastball today at 83.9. But thing that sticks out to you, 81 from the infield. If I can click it here, you got stuff everywhere. Okay runner. He's been up to 83 in the infield, but nonetheless, athleticism is present. We've seen him a good bit, PD Scout Day, seen him high school wise, and we're going to see him again at the PD Scout Day coming up. But very athletic, swings the bat very well. Good 2-way guy for a school to pick up here coming up.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things that I remember taking away from him, and I got on my sheet here. I think he has an actual chance to stay two-way. I know a lot of guys in
Yeah.
high school, everybody's a two-way in high school pretty much. I was a two-way, and then, realized quickly I was not a two-way. I think if I saw from anything from him the other day, is I think he's got shots to play both, depending on the situation he goes into, where he goes, what the needs are, and how he keeps developing. But I do agree. I mean, we're definitely going to round that 83.9 up to a 4. So, and I made a note. Good breaking ball, worked in the zone a lot for a quick outing, and yeah, he was definitely impressive on both sides. Well, all three sides at the plate as well, in the field and pitching. So I agree. I think he can stick as a potential two-way guy at the next level.
Watch out. Catch, I'm going to give you – what were you about to say, Catch?
So for South Florence to be somewhere that, I can't speak for anybody else, but I don't get to go to South Florence very much. I don't think Sammy's willing to pay that mileage, but I do look forward to seeing how his season goes. And you never know, I have to go down there on the weekend and make a trip to Buc-ee's.
Watch out. Get that brisket burger extra large. Coach, I'm going to give you – this might make it hard on you. One more to talk about. I think I know where you're going. I already have it typed up, but we'll see.
You know where I'm going? If it's not a Riverside Warrior, then you got the wrong.
There we go. It was already typed up.
You knew that's where we were headed. So Mr. Noble, I've had the luxury of following him for a while. Coached him when he was in the 8th grade, and he was a good player then. He's had an interesting career, I guess you could say, as a high school player. He's been through some, I think me and Sammy talked the other day. He's always been a good player. It's just kind of been when is he going to put it all together, and when's it all going to finally jump out at you? And I thought Sunday was the best I've seen him look. Like I said, I saw him play probably more than most did at a younger age, and then we've seen him DH a little bit, seen him play some first base, second base, a little bit of shortstop at Riverside. We get to see him at the preseason tournament. He's had some, for whatever reason it is, injuries, players in his way, people in front of him on the depth chart, whatever. I think it was last year at the Shipyard tournament, he was hitting in the middle of that order, and he hit probably 10 balls on the screws. And I don't know if he got a hit show for it. So it's always been there, but for him the showing he put out was very impressive. I know he had a hard hit ball up the middle. I think with 2 strikes against pretty good arm. He had a double in the gap. The glove on the infield again. He's kind of like Miles, where I've seen him play probably more second than I have short, but he can definitely do both. They were out there at the same time, kind of going back and forth, and he can play shortstop. He can play anywhere on that infield. Like I said, I've seen him play first base. He can play, and I think somebody is going to get a steal here, just from somebody who maybe hadn't gotten as many looks as other people have due to whatever the situation has been. Cooper Noble can play. And he's going to be – I know there's a lot of new things happening at Riverside this year, new coach. He's a lot of new players. He's going to be somebody that's going to have to lead that team in a lot of ways. And, I mean, just defensively from the start, he had a good round of BP. The defense he was as smooth out there as anybody, threw the ball well. And then it carried over into gameplay. And he just seeing the transition that he's made for over several years, like I said, he is going to be he's going to be a very good baseball player, not only this year but going forward. Because again, he's like so many other kids on this list, and so many that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. I mean, like I said, we could do this I could sit here and talk about these kids for the next 45 minutes to an hour if we so chose, but people would quit listening eventually. But Cooper can definitely play at the next level, and I look forward to seeing where he ends up, because somebody's going to take a shot on him, and they're going to be glad they did, because I think his best baseball is still ahead of him, and I look forward to seeing that.
Coach, biggest thing is he's a competent player too, and he's got the ability there. So I think he's going to be a really good college baseball player when it gets to that point. Big pickup for anybody that grabs him. Coach, obviously we could talk about each and every guy, and we hope to see each and every guy commit as we move on to that graduation mark for that 2025 class. More stuff's coming out, stories coming out. We got some pitching videos coming out, TrackMan. All that's coming out through social media, so make sure you pay attention to that. That all releases Mr. Espo's scheduling. Coach, we'll get to it here. Week 9 picks.
He's coming.
It's slow and steady. Hey, tortoise in the hair. If you've read that story, make sure you pay attention to these pick'ems as we roll through. And then about
usually be you. I mean, I get it. Slow and steady is good, but there's only a certain number of weeks left in the season.
I'm 7 games back, but it's okay. Coach, we first got to get to second place. I'm only 5 games back. Once we get to there, we can then take first place.
There you go.
We got a long way to go. We got 4 weeks left. Then we got a bowl season. Who knows what happens then?
By the time we get to episode 100, maybe episode 100 can be the big reveal that Drew has made it into first place. Maybe.
Coach, I might skip that episode since I'm in first place. But as you see the records below, I'm still sitting in last place. Austin's come back strong. Now in first place, Coach. 2-game lead.
It was a slow start. I had to, it's tough to pick at the beginning of the year because you really never. I mean, you don't know what anybody's got. You got Michigan won the whole thing last year, so obviously every time they go on the field, you say, well, let's pick them, and come to find out they, decided to not recruit the most important position on the field, which is certainly, it's a thought, but it hadn't worked out for them. And I guess it's tough at the beginning. You're picking teams based off of what? Off of what you think they might do. We have no idea what they're going to do.
Coach, I'll be honest with you. When I was looking at these spread picks, kind of difficult. When you look at them, this is a tough week here. Straight up, I think we're going to be okay. We do not have Espo's pick yet. We'll have those probably tomorrow, so we don't know. But we will release a graphic this week. I got you on that one, Coach. We don't have a guest picker either.
Jesus Christ!
But our guest picker, Sean, finished 5-5 as well. So a guest picker has not won, but I think that might be the best guess. Nope. Wade Padgett had the best record at 6-4.
And Wade Padgett.
He's the champ.
I think for episode 100, I think we need to bring back every single person who has ever been on a podcast before.
We don't have you want a 24-hour marathon?
Everybody gets 10 seconds to say whatever they want to say. Put a plug in for their team, for the show, for whatever you want to talk about. And that's what they get. Everybody who's ever been on the show.
Well, Coach, never know. It's the 100th episode. We'll see what we can come up with. Only 3 weeks away.
It's coming in hot.
Coming in hot. Well, we'll start it off with the hot one. First game.
Oof.
Ohio State travels to Penn State. Coach, I saw a stat. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. It's going to take me. This is a very interesting stat when you look at it. Ryan Day hasn't beat a top 5 opponent since September the 3rd of 2022. Lost 4 straight. James Franklin hasn't beat a top 5 opponent since October the 22nd, 2016. He's lost 10 straight. They're both in the top 5. Who ends the losing streak? Coach Austin, you pick first.
You know what they say about Ryan Day? Born on third, thinking he's hit a triple. I think man, that's tough because I have been for several years now thinking that Penn State is one of the most overrated football teams I think I've seen in years because they always get hyped up. They always finish in the top 10 somehow, and they always go 10-2 because they lose to the only two teams they played with a pulse all year, and they do it like 4 straight years. But man, I think the big question mark I think with them is their quarterback. Is he going to play? They may not. I saw on ESPN yesterday said wasn't sure.
I don't know if it's been announced yet, to be honest.
I think this Ohio State team's not as good as they thought they were going to be. I say that they might end up winning the whole thing, but they didn't look good last week. I'm going. I think Penn State pulls it off. I think Penn State pulls it off. I think it gives Ohio State their second loss, and then we get to hear everybody talk about Ryan Day's done. He's going wherever he's going. He's going to go to Florida. Urban Meyer's coming back. All that. Give me Penn State.
Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. They may not have their quarterback. I don't know. I don't think Penn State's very good. I think they've benefited from a weak schedule. I think the Buckeyes win this game close. However, I don't think the Buckeyes are getting into the Big Ten championship because Indiana's going to beat them. But give me the Buckeyes in this game. I think they win it close. I think the spread's 3.5. Closer than the experts think.
For who? Who's favored by 3.5?
The Buckeyes.
That's understandable.
So
that tells you what they think about Penn State, though. You're a 3.5-point dog, undefeated, number 3
and it's
team.
It's a 12 o'clock game.
Ooh, big noon kickoff, baby.
Yeah, we love some big noon kickoff. How about this one right here? A&M travels to South Carolina. A night game on ABC, Coach, 7:30, prime time. This is what tricked me here. Well, this threw me off. South Carolina is 2.5-point underdogs, but we're picking this straight up.
Coach, for starters, I'm going to be there. I will be in attendance. And the last time South Carolina hosted Texas A&M 2 years ago, 7:30 game. It was cold. Xavier Legette runs the opening kickoff back as we're trying to find our seat. He runs out of his shoe on the sideline. They win the game, and it was nuts. I think they pull it off again. I think Texas A&M changed quarterback, which helped them a lot. But I think South Carolina's defense has the speed and the ability to hold him down. And I think knowing that he's going to play, they're going to be able to scheme around what he does. And I think they take a very similar approach to what they did when they played Alabama and slowing down Milroe running the ball. And I think they win this game.
Coach, when I saw the spread, I was very puzzled. I don't see this being within 10 points. I think A&M's defense is good enough for a bad South Carolina offense. I think the Aggies win 27-17. I think it's low scoring. I think Gamecocks defense does good enough, but I think the Aggies have a little too much, and they keep that Aggie train rolling. I think Williams-Brice is empty to be in another fourth quarter.
So what you're saying is if I stay to the end, I'm not going to fight the traffic on the way home.
Coach, when you go to Carolina, it's better to stay to the end of the game rather than leave at halftime. If you leave at halftime, you get stuck in traffic.
Well, if you go to a Clemson game, if you wait till the end, all of them go down on the field to meet at the hall, and then you can just jet then too. So just it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's okay.
You're better off just staying. As long as you're going towards the exit, you're fine.
It's perfectly fine. The big one in the ACC, we got a ranked matchup. Pitt travels to SMU. Coach, I think Pitt may, I'm not 100% sure here. It's at 8 p.m. again. Pitt is 7.5-point underdogs. Interesting. They may not have a quarterback.
Ooh.
I'm not 100% sure, though. But I'm not seeing it on the news. Maybe he is playing now.
If a quarterback was, because that quarterback's pretty good.
It looks like he's playing.
I think Pitt, man. I think Pitt's got a shot. Pitt's got a shot to go into SMU, as you like to call them, and win that ball game. And I think Pitt's got a chance to run the table. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but if that defense plays the way that they played Thursday night against Syracuse, I know
Syracuse.
It sounds crazy just to say it, but the Syracuse quarterback was having a great year, and then all of a sudden he went full Carson Beck, just forgot whose team he played for. So I think that Pitt defense is legit. They got enough offense to go with it, kind of stay out of the way, and I think they go into SMU, and SMU's first big ACC game doesn't go well for them.
Coach, I think I'm with you. I think Pitt wins the ball game and sets up a college game day appearance for November the 16th when they host the Tigers to lose. But anyway, nonetheless, Panthers get a win here. A little bit of travel for them down the SMU, but I think Pitt's ready. Big win for Pitt. Coach, this is worst of the worst here. UNC travels to Florida State.
Coach, the fact that you put this on here is just a waste of time.
Nope. It's a close game. What we got?
It's going to be a close game. It's going to be I don't even know if this is going to make it on TV. Is this game on TV? Probably on the ACC network.
Probably on CW.
Coach, I don't even know, man. Give me North Carolina. I think they won last week. They broke their streak. Florida State, they're so bad.
Florida State's bad. Tar Heels, I think Mac Brown's got to get a win here, even though he's going to retire at the end of the year.
Yeah, he's done.
Give me the Tar Heels. That's Wisconsin travels to Iowa, Coach.
Big Ten game here. Let me. Wisconsin's getting hot. I think they're on a winning streak.
They lost that streak, didn't they?
Did they?
Maybe
that was a week before. They were on a winning streak of some sort at one time. I saw it on College Football Final or whatever. Tell me if they
lost to Penn State last week.
Oh, well, that's okay. Give me the Badgers. I'm going with a lot of road teams here this week.
I'm taking Iowa. Give me the Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes are favored in this game, but at that point, who cares? Because both of them suck. We return back to the beautiful state of South Carolina. Louisville travels to Clemson. Clemson 11-point favorites.
I'm going Tigers in a blowout.
Catch, we think alike here. I think Tigers win big. I think Louisville hadn't faced the defense good enough yet, and they face the Tigers. So Tigers win by.
I think the Louisville train kind of ran off the tracks a few weeks ago, and it just kind of kept going.
I think the Tigers win by 17.
I
think that all spread.
I think they win by more than that.
Yeah, tell them Tigers.
I know Dabo's deal though. He likes to take his players out and give up a lot of points at the end of the game, but I think he gets up like. I mean, I think it's going to be something stupid like 42-7 or something crazy, and
be pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll be in attendance in the game this time.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a wellness check on Drewski at about 9:30 if that does happen.
Man, you might want to do a 9:30 in the morning wellness check.
That too. We'll let's mix in a little bit for me.
Every hour.
Who we got next?
Smith, we're back to your boys
Coach Kirby's got them boys rolling.
It's the cocktail party, Coach. The
Listen,
Gators.
Kirby, it's time to get on that Kirby soapbox. I know everybody, everybody always wants to badmouth Kirby when he tries to, get the bulletin board material and say everybody doubted us and all this junk. There were 5 people on game day the other day picked against the Dogs. And they, in my opinion, they embarrassed Texas on their own field. Just my opinion.
They did.
And I think Kirby has got them boys where they need to be. I think they go down there and they are the Sunbelt Billy's trying to keep his job. He needs to win some more games, but I think Kirby just goes ahead and signs the buyout for him and says it's time to go. I think the Dogs pull this one by 4 touchdowns.
Coach DJ Lagway, the quarterback for Florida, is very interesting. This is a tough one. However, I think the Gators cover. I think Carson Beck throws a couple crucial picks. Don't be surprised if the Gators win the ball game. But however, I think Georgia wins the ball game, but the Gators cover. The Gators cover.
You're telling me with a straight
I think that
face, you would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I think the Dogs win by 14.
I'm not saying that it's not possible. I mean, don't get me wrong, they can certainly lose to anybody, but I'd be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not 2 cents. I think that Georgia defense,
not with the way college football is going this year.
They're feeling themselves. Florida's offense is feeling a lot of things, not theirself.
How about this one? Another interesting. These are hard, Coach. Oregon travels to Michigan. Michigan 14.5-point underdogs.
The defending national champs are 14.5-point dogs in their own stadium. Give me the Ducks, man. The Ducks are good. I still think that quarterback wins the Heisman. I think Dan Lanning is the second best coach in the country, and I think Michigan's offense is horrible. So if Oregon can score 3 touchdowns, then they'll probably cover here.
Yeah, I don't think this one's close. I think Oregon covers handedly. Michigan not any good. Easy. How about this? This one's really interesting. Kentucky travels to Tennessee. Tennessee is 16-point favorites.
That's a big number. I know they're at home. I know they beat Alabama. That's a big number for an SEC game. I think Tennessee wins that game, but I think it looks a lot like the game they played against Florida. I don't know if they have to go to overtime to win it, but I don't think Tennessee covers there. Give me Kentucky. Give me Big Blue. It's about time for Mark Stoops to start winning a couple games, keep his job, make everybody happy.
Coach, we got a night game kick at Rocky Top. Give me the Vols to cover. I think the Vols win big. Kentucky sucks too. I think Stoops has to win, but Stoops is done.
Give me the check Tennessee schedule. I feel like they've played nothing but home games this year.
I'm with you.
Have they been on the road yet? What are we doing?
They get to travel to Athens very soon.
They will make the trip.
Coach, they lost on the road to Arkansas.
They did.
Roll Hogs. But yeah, I think the Vols covered here. Last game, Coach.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Indiana travels to Michigan State. Michigan State 7-point underdogs.
First off, Indiana's getting no love, and I don't like it at all. I like their coach. The man said, "Look at my record. Google me." Like, I mean, what else do you want? Like this cat wins. That's what he does. I mean, 7 points. Michigan State's not good. They're probably gonna be some players suspended from them too for the little altercation they had with the Wolverines last week. I think Indiana wins that game, but I think Indiana needs some love. This junk in the AP poll where they're like, I don't even know what they are, but they're not high enough. Personally.
No, they're not. I think, Coach, I think they're legit. Indiana wins a ball game and wins by 28 or more. I don't think Michigan State's good enough, even though it's at Michigan State. They can't get over the Mel Tucker deal. Sparta down.
Michigan State hasn't been good since Saban left in 1999.
Coach, Indiana's got a chance to win the Big Ten championship.
I was getting ready to chase that rabbit with you. I don't think. Now
I don't know if they can beat Oregon, but I think they make it.
I think the Big Ten goes through Oregon, which is a really weird thing to say, just geographically. But I think the Big Ten goes through Oregon. I don't think Indiana. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know who else they have to play. I don't know that Indiana beats Ohio State. I don't know that they're better than Penn State either. I think they've been a really good story. I think they're a good team, and I think based off of what they have done so far this season, they deserve to be ranked higher than they are. By no means do I think they'll be a top 10 team at the end of the season. But it's a good story. And if you think that they can't win, Google the man.
Google the man. He's the man. Look at his record.
Look at the record and Google the man.
Coach.
We can't wait to see who Sammy picks here. And our guest picker has not been announced. TBA.
Yep. To be announced on the guest picker. We'll see what we can find. Coach, that's going to wrap us up for episode 97.
That's it.
Best show in the land. So, hey, that's going to wrap us up. So, from all of us here at Prep Baseball, South Carolina, we hope you have a great week.
Coach, can I get a timeout real quick before you stop?
Oh, I just ended it. Yeah, what you?
Dadgummit.
Yeah, you're ended.
We did not get our weekly